There we go. Hey, got it working. Check that shit out. Now let me see if I can turn that off. All right, hey, we're gonna talk some games. Joining in today is Wesley Rusher. I gotta unmute you. Hold on. There we go. There you go. You there, Wesley?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
I'm
I'm.
here. I just didn't believe that you actually got it working.
Well, I normally do, but ever since I got sick, man, everything's been kind of broken all over the place. So, trying to get back into trying not to cough, really. It's Monday. It's podcast night. I'm trying to alternate every other week between talking about art tips and art stuff and then like this kind of gaming thing. So we gonna talk about games and stuff because fucking if I don't, I'm gonna spend forever on the phone just bitching about games to Wesley, right, Wesley? Like,
Pretty much. I mean, when you called me to kick this back up, we pretty much had a podcast.
right? Yeah,
So,
just between ourselves doing nothing. So. All right, so it's been a little bit. I want to bring up a couple things. One, how was E3 for you, Wesley? Did you have a good time?
it was okay. I was there every day for some like random work thing, be it like a meeting or setting something up. So I didn't get a whole lot of time on the floor. I spent like the first day, I walked around the floor for a couple hours with my boss, so that wasn't very fun. Just because he's a busy man, so we had to keep moving. And I think the last day, I found an hour and I got to play Mario, and I was happy. I got
You
a little,
approve? You approve of the new Mario Odyssey?
yeah. I mean, it feels like classic Mario, in the vein of 64, Sunshine without the water pack, just like, the bigger, more open and explorable areas, like running around Delfino Plaza, how that was like a step up from the castle at in Mario 64, and then like New Donk City is where I ran around, and it's massive. There's so many little secrets to find and little side quests, and you're constantly looking for moons this time, not stars. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. My Switch has kind of been sitting in the dock the last couple months since I finished
No.
Zelda. So yeah.
Well, we only got another month or two, right? October.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there hasn't been games. I played the crap out of Mario Kart on the Wii U, and I don't have friends anymore to play that with, so I guess I could play online. And then Splatoon's just never appealed to me, so I've kind of skipped that on that. And then Arms, I'm just not into motion controls, so yeah, I played some indies on the Switch, Goner, Wonder Boy, so.
You didn't beat Wonder Boy. No,
No,
no chance of that.
close. I got to the last boss. I just didn't have enough health, and yet I basically need to go grind a little bit and have some health potions saved up. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough game. What was the shittiest game you saw at E3? like, what was the thing you were like, oh, that's not working?
Hmm. It's a good question. I don't know. I think the things that appealed to me the least were like Agents of Mayhem. Marvel versus Capcom Infinite didn't look very hot. Um,
That's on my who why you know what I mean? Just the crap
but I,
list.
I, I I played it later at Evo, and it definitely plays fine. Like it's a fun game to play still. It just doesn't look very good.
No.
Like it looks a little better. I guess there's a day one patch that fixes Chun-Li's face and some other. Basically, the Capcom side is looking pretty janky. Dante, Chun-Li.
You know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of remember that Punch Out game they put on the Wii?
Hmm.
It was like a step down from Super Punch Out.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like this kind of generic CG quality and limited number of players, and it kind of had like it had the same essence of Punch Out when you actually got into it, but it had the motion controls. But it just felt like a watered down sort of modern generic remake of Punch Out versus a continuation of Super Punch Out on a new platform. That's kind
Yeah, I
of
can
how I
see
feel
what you're
like.
saying. Like when it mechanically, it was still a pretty good game. It just like the look didn't feel right.
Think it'll ship with that arcade mode?
Well, they're gonna ship with the story mode, but yeah, hopefully an arcade mode too. Apparently that's coming in season 3, free update for Street Fighter 5.
Eventually, they'll put that.
I just love how like Capcom now is, like they can hype that up, be like arcade mode's coming to season 3, and you're supposed to be like super excited about something that has been standard in every previous iteration of
Just
not just that game, but fighting games in general.
Wesley, you're old enough to remember. Remember when like the never-ending shitstorm for fighting games was that there was no blood on the Mortal Kombat version on Super Nintendo?
Hmm.
And it was like, this is unacceptable. Could you imagine if it had shipped with like no single player? Could you imagine like 3 characters and you had to like go get a demo disc, you know what I mean? And like install the other characters for money. I keep thinking like, and in many ways we have so many things right now. Gaming's better. Overall, gaming's better than when I was a kid. I know that's not the popular opinion because nostalgia, kind of like weighs people, but overall gaming's better. However, there's some very fundamental things they've been taking away from gaming that just I can't. It's especially when it comes to niche genre specific titles. Like in their like fighting games are niche. It's not you're not gonna put a fighting game on a bunch of soda cans like Halo 3 did. Like it's not gonna have a Phantom Menace like marketing campaign for a fighting game, and they're never gonna be as popular as even like an Overwatch or some League of Legends like tournament thing. But there's a hardcore audience that does grow every year with Evo and stuff like that. And just when they try to like take that niche genre specific hardcore thing and then dilute it so they can try to increase the user base. I mean, if Smash Brothers can't increase the user base any more than it already has, then I can't see any other dilution of the formula. Like, just fucking make a great hardcore fighting game that looks brilliant. And in my opinion, I submit to you Dragon Ball Z. Like as an example of that exactly. I mean,
I should have taken pictures at Evo, but Namco had the booth and they're showing off the Gundam game, but more importantly, they're showing off, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and the line was massive the whole time.
yeah.
And right next to it was Capcom's booth, and you could walk up and play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite within, 5 minutes,
Yeah.
as opposed to like 30 plus minutes. It was just like, I mean, Capcom had to be looking over there going, like, oh shit.
I'm gonna bring up some screens here really quickly.
Like, I mean, and you're at the
Yeah.
place where you're gonna see the most important feedback. And I mean, Marvel's a huge property, but there's tons of Marvel games to service Marvel fans.
It just doesn't
And
look artistic though, man. Like it doesn't look like Marvel versus Capcom in 3D. It looks like a generic, like this fucking Marvel, like this right here, the Arc System Works Dragon Ball Fighters. I mean, it has the same. I know Arc System Work made it, the guys that did like Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, but like it just has the same exact feel, energy, kinetic, aesthetic. Like when I was playing the Marvel games back in the day, it felt like playing a live action anime featuring Marvel characters. Remember Children of the Atom?
yeah,
Like it was
superheroes,
pretty amazing.
even
Yeah.
even the original X-Men versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Marvel, it felt like panels out of a comic book. Stages that the floor broke away and you went down to like a sewer, or you knocked people through a wall and they expanded, and
Yeah.
like you're busting through comic book panels.
Yeah, like it's artistic, and their games are just not artistic. They're horrible, horrible looking games, man. This is fucking amazing. Man. I look at their facial animations, the expressions, the energy. This is so badass. This is
Yeah,
right.
and then you see the opposite. You see what NetherRealms and Warner Brother did with Injustice 2, and it kind of capitalizes on the whole aesthetic of the Nolan North Batmans and the new Supermans, but it's dark. They're gritty. They're but then like the animations are crazy. Like they look like real people, and
I don't like it.
I like it. I love it.
I don't.
I think it's
It's
really
like
cool.
Mortal Kombat. I mean, same guys, right? So
Yeah, same.
I don't like it.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the gameplay, and I this weekend I watched I forget the name of it. It was basically the Injustice, like one of the major Injustice tournaments. First one they've done since Evo. With I guess there was a huge New Balance patch, and the top player in Mortal Kombat Injustice, his name's Sonic Fox. He'd kind of fallen off a little bit, like still placing like top 3, top 4. He won, and he won with Captain Cold, and it was the most atrociously boring gameplay I'd ever seen. Like nobody had an answer for Captain Cold, who shoots like a dome of frozen air that if the opponent walks into, slows him down and basically makes him vulnerable to any kind of attack.
But see,
And it takes up
I'm an
like
artistic guy
80%
though.
of the screen. It
I
takes
get
up
you,
80% of the screen.
but I'm an artistic guy, Wesley, and I just feel like if the game looked like Jose Garcia Lopez's art or Jim Lee's art or Greg Capullo's art or let's go back to George Perez. If it just looked artistic, I could get into it. When it looks real, I just see like that generic rubber suit look that it doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
don't.
I think they did. I think the way it is appeals to to the masses a little more.
I think they're blinded by their fanboyness. That's what I feel like. Because I mean, Swamp Thing looked like melted ice cream. we covered that on one of the gaming casts. It was like, look, he looks like he just melted, like he put a Swamp Thing ice cream cone in the sun. You know. So I mean, if it were using maybe a more updated engine, but I don't know. I've just never been a fan. The only aesthetic those guys ever produced that I thought was legitimately interesting was Mortal Kombat 2. I thought that had a look that improved off the first one, but the animations were shit. Total like, I can't take that.
Yeah, very very stiff.
Yeah, yeah, very very stiff. Um, Whatever. So Dragon Ball Z was my game of the show, and then obviously I thought Mario was pretty amazing. Um, I
Yeah, those were great games. I didn't play Dragon Ball there. I played it at Evo, but I definitely watched people play it, and it's breathtaking to watch. I mean, anybody who brings up a trailer and watches that, it's like watching the best, fight scenes of any episode of Dragon Ball Z.
looks better than the actual cartoon out right now.
Uh, yeah,
It's true. They should just let those guys. They should animate that cartoon with the fighting game engine. All right, let's talk about some other stuff. So everyone here knows I'm a big fan of Dragon Quest, right, Wesley? Maybe
hmm
you've heard me talk about this game a few times.
yeah. Is 2018 the year of Dragon Quest?
It's gonna be. It's gonna be. 'Cause I stayed up. I stayed up a year ago, all night just to stream the Dragon Quest. Was it a year or 2 years ago when they announced Dragon Quest 11 for the PlayStation 4? Remember they had that demo where they're just
hmm
running around. So I just wanted to watch it live. I think it might have been 2 years ago. Wow, time flies, huh? Anyhow, check this out. So it has been officially announced that Dragon Quest XI is coming to America. Oh my gosh. It's a good video too, by the way. I'm so excited, dude. Like
Yeah, it
this
looks great. There was a really good video on Digital Foundry just showing the difference of the game running on a PS4 and a PS4 Pro.
mm,
And
big
you
difference?
know, um, not a whole lot. I
Okay.
mean, definitely if you have a Pro, you'll get 4K, and it's like checkerboarded 4K. But there's some weird like blurring that they pointed out, which I was like, okay, like these guys are just too analytical. But I definitely appreciate their videos. But on both platforms, it runs at a solid 30 frames per second. It's not 1080p on a standard PS4 though, but it still looks damn good. It's like nine something, it's like almost there.
Question Psycho wants to know if it was called Dragon Warrior way back during the day. And yeah, when it first came over to America, it was called Dragon Warrior. And that's actually because there was a pen and paper RPG at the time called Dragon Quest in America. You believe that? So they called it Dragon Warrior, but it's Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I mean it
Uh,
was what all the way up till 8.
yeah, all the way up till 7. No, it was 7.
Seven
What
was still Dragon Warrior, I think.
was it on the PS?
I think the PlayStation 1 one was.
I was already calling it Dragon Quest, so you're probably right on that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box art. Dragon Warrior 7.
Yeah, that's funny. But Akira Toriyama designs brilliant lighting, just great RPG. So already sold 3 million copies in Japan in like a few days. It's pretty crazy. So that gets
Well, yeah, and is that between it's between PlayStation and the DS version, right?
yeah, but the
3.
PS4 is apparently outselling the 3DS version.
Well, yeah, I mean it's gorgeous. I mean the 3DS version is really cool. It's pretty neat that you can play the game in 2D and in 3D.
Yeah, I
So,
want the PS4 version. I
yeah.
want HD Akira Toriyama RPG, man. Like I just
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially after seeing like the stuff Level 5 does, this is like right next to it.
yeah. So I was super excited, and I can guarantee you next year that's pretty much all I'll be playing. That and Red Dead. Like that's it. That's I'm gonna be playing all that next year. And then maybe my free time, obviously Dragon Ball Z. Another quick thing was this was a shock to me. I didn't think they were gonna do this, but what do I know? Dragon Quest Builders 2 was officially announced for PS4 and Z Switch. Cool thing about this is if you play Dragon Quest Builders, which is Minecraft meets Dragon Quest, is on this one they added. Let me see if I can get to it really quick. If I can find it on this stupid panel. No, it's not gonna like. Of course
So
not.
then it's pretty. I don't know. I saw it in the trailer. You talking about the new traversal mechanism?
Yeah, so they added hang gliding, similar to
Hmm.
like Breath of the Wild, and they also added underwater. So now you can go underwater. It's pretty. I think I can never find this fucking thing. No, of course not. Why would they put the Dragon Quest Builders video on here? Why? It's all mobile shit. This really pisses me off. Let's see if I can bring this up. I thought that was the video. That's my bad, dogs. That's my bad. Here we go. So this right here is pretty dope. If it'll ever fucking play. Of course it won't. Here we go. So yeah, you get to glide now. That's pretty dope. And man, I thought I was Minecraft out, but having played Dragon Quest Builders quite a bit, it it really does add nice quests and stuff, and level grinding, and it gets you. It actually has some shit to do, and it ties into the original Dragon Warrior. So if you ever beat the original Dragon Warrior, at the end, spoilers for Dragon Warrior, on the first Dragon Quest game, aka Dragon Warrior, when you met the Dragon Lord, you had a choice to either fight him or join him. And like every other shitbag, I joined him. I was like, yeah, I'm going to join the bad guy. And then he murders you, takes over the kingdom. So you basically have to restart the game and then fight him and save the day. In Dragon Quest Builders, this game basically starts out with this being the kingdom that fell into darkness after you chose to join the Dragon Lord. So it's pretty cool. Like I feel like I actually feel responsible, like for ruining their little universe. Um, but underwater gameplay and everything else was announced, so that's pretty dope. And I'll be getting that on my Switch, guaranteed. You gonna be picking that one up, Wesley, or are you not into the?
Builders? No, I don't know. I mean, I've always thought about picking up the first one when it got down in price, so maybe I'll start with that one.
Has an annoying feature though, Dragon Quest Builders. So I like to listen to my own music when I play games, right? And Dragon Quest Builders has all the original Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest music from the first game. And if you know what that means, that's one tune looped forever. And you can't turn it all the way down. You can turn it almost down. It goes just very faintly. You can still hear it. But you can't actually just turn it off. So I play it basically with no sound so I can listen to my own music because it fucking drives me crazy. Um, I
I
hope.
don't think they're doing this, but it'd be really interesting to see that kind of feature like implemented in a game. So anytime someone uploaded a YouTube video, they could always catch the music because you could never get rid of it.
Someone actually did that recently. I can't remember what developer it was. Put that in there so you never had to worry about it. It's up here. It's up here, folks. I'll get back to that. Moving right along, let's get some little quick news. So Wesley, Night Trap?
Yeah, Night Trap.
The hell's Night Trap?
Are you not familiar with
No, I'm
the
just pretending.
yeah. So Night Trap was a game originally released for the Sega CD all the way back in a long, long time ago. I should know the year, but early 90s, like I would say like 93, maybe 92, October 15th, 1992. There we go. Um, it is one of those the era of full motion video gaming, which was very popular on the Sega CD. It was a way to just something different with the CD format because we were moving from cartridge to CDs and with the extended storage format. But this game is extra, what's the word I'm looking for? Not famous, but infamous, I suppose, for being one of the first games that the U.S. government, like a couple senators, like flipped their lids about
So
because
ridiculous.
it was scantily clad girls, getting murdered by
And, and
vampire ninjas.
and the exact same content was available to watch every night on Skinamax from
I mean,
midnight
even
to,
worse. It's not like there's any nudity. Like,
yeah.
if you like, I literally just typed in Night Trap on Google, and like the image that shows up next, right above the info, there's a picture where they're in like workout tops and like a nightie, but not like lingerie or anything. But this is also right around the time Mortal Kombat came out, so oh, anyways, this Sega
Look how vicious
invented.
this game is, folks. Like, seriously, look. I mean, Married with Children had it was.
Oh yeah, that would be actually
uh,
starring Dana Plato in the middle from Different
yeah.
Strokes. Um, but yeah, this game along with Mortal Kombat was a big reason why the ESRB is what we have now. Sega basically started in response to this. They pulled the game, re-released it with a rating, which was I think mature. I think, and then it's before there was E, there was KA. Sega had all their own ratings on their own games, something Nintendo did not have.
Nintendo also didn't have the ability to process or store full motion video games, so
Yeah. But I mean, like this rating
you
then went
know,
forward to like Mortal Kombat, and just you start looking at Genesis games from that point forward.
it's a shitty game. I know it's got a lot of love. I listened to Shane R. Monroe's passenger seat radio. He used to do like retro gaming radio for like 12, 13 years. He's a big Night Trap fan, and he's been trying to petition, the Nintendo to put it on the Switch, but they'll never do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm excited. I'm gonna pick it up. It was a game I liked as a kid, and it was probably like the taboo nature of it. Like I remember like renting it at Blockbuster, and and being excited to play it, and it having some interesting things. Like here's a spoiler. So at the very beginning of the game, you're basically like you're tasked with monitoring these cameras to like stop these ninjas, and you trigger traps in the game. But this like cop, military guy is giving you instructions, and if you don't like start doing the task at hand and you just keep listening to his instructions, you eventually fail the game.
you play the game looking through different cameras. If you
Yeah.
kind of want to see Nintendo rip off this gameplay formula, just go play the latest Star Fox game. They came with this mini game where you're basically looking through security cameras. I was like, so this is like
Oh, I
Night
mean,
Trap.
it's like Five Nights at Freddy's or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
another
never
game where
played. I
well,
never actually
you
played
just sit
Five
in the
Nights at
security
Freddy's.
office and you just but instead of jump scares, you're saving damsels in distress.
Night Trap for me was a game that always like had this reputation, and then you played it and you're like, huh. I felt like
Yeah.
Leisure Suit Larry was the same thing. You're like, oh, there's going to be some crazy stuff in this game, and you play it, and you're like, what? There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Like I felt more dirty playing Dragon's Lair back in the day than these games. Like, you could see some serious cleavage in that game. Um,
I will say though, there's so along with the game release, there's like a DVD documentary that's being released, but you can actually watch that documentary for free on YouTube right now. It's by My Life in Gaming, and it's called Night Trap 25 Years Later, and it's a full like 50-minute documentary with the people that have, restoring the footage, putting the game back together, and all that cool stuff. So
did
it's
they
actually pretty
bring
interesting.
in any of the people that whose lives were destroyed by playing this game, as Congress was so certain would happen?
I haven't made myself all the way through the documentary. It's on the list of things to do when I'm like either really bored at work or
Like, can we
um,
do that now? Because we've had enough time from like Night Trap and Doom and the hot coffee shenanigans. Can we bring in the survivors of the hot coffee mud and show, like, how useless those fucking arguments were? Like, no one's so bad, folks. Like every time they drag out some game as it's corrupting the youth, it's just it never pans out. Now, I'll admit there are games that have added to the toxicity of gaming culture in general. Like Xbox Live probably being the biggest offender, in my opinion. Just unregulated troll like fucking behavior on Xbox Live, hasn't helped gaming culture,
I
you
mean,
know.
you're only safe on the PlayStation Network. You're not even safe on Switch.
Really?
Yeah,
I've never.
did you not hear at E3 like the dude, front speaker for Sony, his response to why they wouldn't let Minecraft be
Oh,
cross compatible
you're
with.
being facetious. I got you. I was like,
Yeah.
how are you not
That's
safe?
what that's what he said though. He said we need to protect our players, and we can't protect our players if
Meanwhile,
we're
they're
letting
hacked
them
like
play.
they're hacked like for the 15th time.
It's not even the hacking. The journalist who was interviewing the guy responded back. He's like, but Microsoft and Nintendo are gonna let people play Minecraft together. Well, Nintendo seems like the most you know
All I know is
adamant about protection.
every time I have to log back into PlayStation Network, I have to reset my password because they've been rehacked. Like,
Uh,
don't tell me you got the most safest platform when you're the only thing I have that I constantly have to reset my fucking info. At least once or twice a year, man. At least once a year, I have to reset that shit. So, Sony, stupid asses. It's a bullshit excuse. All right, so moving right along, I want to talk about something you guys should read if you get a chance. This comes from Game Industry. I'm going to call this Developer's Corner. A little bit of developer info. It's a nice
need some music
article.
for that.
I know, yeah. Developer's Corner. This is what Brandon's here for. I should bring him on just to make theme song music. This is Bungie, the makers of Halo and now Destiny 1 and 2. 13-year battle with crunch culture. And it's all about how they got this insane crunch on Halo 2 that pretty much almost destroyed the entire company. All the way up till current Destiny DLC, in which they have no crunch anymore. So, and then the difference between good crunch and bad crunch. And if you don't know what crunch is, folks, crunch is where you just live at work forever and you never leave because everything's due yesterday. And what happens is it starts with trying to meet a milestone or a specific goal or maybe pushing out a game, and then it creeps into just everyday life. I actually worked at a t-shirt place once where I was sleeping at work, and then like showering in the fucking bathroom and stuff because they did that. It turned out to be like this one thing was important and this next thing was important. Next thing you know, everyone's there till 9, then everyone's there till 10 all the time, then everyone's there till midnight all the time, and then now you're sleeping there. And so that's a good article to read. I will put a link in the show info to that, so you guys don't have to worry about trying to figure out where that went. We'll put a link to that. Also, I want to bring up developers of the week. Now, Wesley, are you aware of Voxel Gaming?
No. Well, maybe, but I'm gonna say no.
So voxels are like a different way of, instead of doing polygons, voxels are,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Way back in the early 90s, they tried to make games out of this. So I think there was like an Outland was one of these games and some of these helicopter
Well,
games.
yeah, there's a new game coming out. It was actually one of the most talked about games at E3, The Last Night.
Hmm.
That's another game that uses voxels. It's really cool.
Well, so I found a few guys that do some voxel art, and I thought this was pretty amazing. It's this little animated GIF of this voxel like isometric. It really reminds me of Final Fantasy VII. It's got this little voxel rain, these little glowing things, and I kept thinking you can see a little arcade if you look in. There's a little arcade cabinet up in there and shit. And I'm like, I would fucking kill for a Final Fantasy game to look like this. You know, like this voxel style. It's pretty amazing stuff. In fact, if I scroll down here enough, like this is pretty dope. You can see this. He faved another artist who actually is using voxels. I don't know if he's making a game or if he was just mocking some stuff up. Let me see if I can find it. This right here, Ex Machina. Look at this. So it's got this guy battling on like on a grid. This is pretty dope. I would love to see a tactics style game with these voxels.
I put a link in for The Last Night on our doc. It's a Destructoid link, but there's an animated GIF in there too, which is pretty cool.
Let me look at that right now. I'll bring that up. The Last Night, voxel gaming.
Yeah, and
Oh, I have
unfortunately, it
seen
got a
this.
lot. It got a lot of notoriety at E3 because the developer, I guess, said some like pro Gamergate stuff. I won't get into that,
Please
but
don't.
yeah,
Yeah, this is
the
pretty
reason
dope.
that stuff came up at E3 is because everybody was like, "This game looks really damn good. Who the hell makes it?"
Yeah, I remember seeing the just the was it a year ago? The this thing. I saw something
Yeah,
like this. Yeah.
yeah. I watched a tech demo at E3. It's actually one of the things I saw, and I basically saw like how how the I don't know, I'm trying to think of a clever metaphor, but I saw how it was all put together. So I saw all the different layers. I saw how like it's one clip, they're creating like a 3D world. So like this scene right here, when he walks into the next scene, it's literally just the other side of the building. Like, it's a 3D world, but everything's locked to like a 2D plane.
Nice. Yeah, man, I want them to make a fucking tactics game like this. This is dope, dude. I do like it. So I think that's like the future of pixel art, right? Voxels?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty odd. That like look at this. Whatever the fuck this thing is here. This is dope.
I mean, you're gonna get your tactics game pretty soon.
When I can play it, I'll believe it.
I thought, did you hear about your favorite
Well, we'll talk about
unsung
that.
story?
Yeah, we'll talk about that fucking nonsense in a
I
second.
forgot all about that. That's definitely some good news.
Yeah. Also, really quickly to talk about developers of the week, AR gaming. So I thought this was pretty cool. Let me bring this up. So this is something else that caught my eye. So this is a game on iOS called Splitter Critters, and this is where you like basically want to draw a line with your finger to kind of cut up the area and kind of force you see you create a straight path, kind of like Lemmings, right? Now you know me, I don't like iOS games, but check this out. They've got this working in augmented reality. So look at this. So it's being projected through their little HoloLens, and then they can drag and modify. Look at that shit! That's fucking dope, dude. Look at that. It's fucking awesome. Like that just brings a whole nother level of 2D style gameplay and this one's dope too. Like someone took this they mapped this 2D pixel game in AR, so you could look around the box. Look at that. You actually move around and look. That's pretty fucking cool. So I think there's some really cool possibilities coming down the pike for augmented reality gaming. The technology's come a long way in 10 years. So if the HoloLens actually ever makes it, maybe that's something to look for, where you got, where you actually have like a three-dimensional diorama being projected, and you could fucking Like look around it, look under, maybe move the guy on the
Couldn't I
thing.
just do that on my 3DS? Just get some cards and
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Like it's come a long way from those stupid cards.
yeah, I like Face Raiders. That was fun.
It's horrible. I was with the really bad GoldenEye camera where you map your face onto like the
Yeah, you could
helicopter.
you could
Yeah.
shoot your friends, loved ones, pets.
All right. So the unsung story. If you guys aren't aware of this thing, this was a Kickstarter from a couple years ago. I actually backed, and the original goal of it was that they were going to make a tactic style game. I'll bring this up called Unsung Story, where they were actually bringing back Yasumi Matsuno, the director of Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Tactics and Final Fantasy 12, and the original character artist, and they were going to make a tactics game using this triangle base grid. I don't know. I never really bought into that, but I backed it. I was super excited. Yasumi Matsuno tactics based game, you know, American studio. I was like, here we go, man. It's gonna be dope. And that game never got made. So this week they announced that they've sold the rights to the game plus the Kickstarter, everything to a company. Let me go into
Called
updates
Little Orbit.
called Little Orbit. Now, because I backed this, I can go to the updates. So Little Orbit, you got to see. So this, they put this whole thing about how they're dedicated to making this tactics game and they're fans of tactics games. I was like, well, what games have Little Orbit made? Well, let's go check out what games that they've made. They've made Monster High, New Ghoul in School, Barbie Puppy Rescue, Kung Fu Panda. So they make generic
They made some Adventure Time
license.
games.
They make generic licensed
Yeah,
games,
they
man.
make so I met them. God, I thought they made something else that wasn't a licensed game. That I'm looking at their website, same as you, and
Oh man,
I swear they made something else. Let me look at
this
their.
is bad. I'd rather just say we're not making it and I can move on with life. You know, I can accept a failed Kickstarter. I mean, I can, folks. It happens. Um, but like, look at this Young Justice game. This is so bad, dude. Like, look at this. Like, this is so bad. Oh
I
man.
thought they made this 3DS game where you played like on the top screen and the bottom screen, and it was kind of like an action platformer, and you'd have to control the other half of the character. I could have swore that was them.
I don't know. You know, I'd rather they just be like, hey, I don't know. How do you sell a Kickstarter to another company?
Yeah, I mean, well,
How does that work?
Playdeck is like the company making the game too. Is like, aren't they like a board game company?
Yeah, well, they made card games, collectible
Yeah,
card games. So they were trying to branch into software development. And basically, like Little Orbit said, basically everything that they have, all the software, whatever shit that they created to use is not going to be able to be usable. Which to me, I don't think they ever had a workable engine actually working. I believe everything was Maya
you
renders
know,
or
I'll give
mockups.
Little Orbit the benefit. You know, maybe they've been able to save up a little nest egg with all these licensed titles, and now they're finally getting a chance to do something they want to do.
It's possible. It's possible. It's also entirely possible that I mean I like that. Look, I'll give him. I'll give you. You know, you're right. Let's give him some benefit of the doubt because the President Little Orbit that update that I had just had on there was saying that that they're going to make certain it's a single player story based game. Which, if you know anything about the Unsung Story, it was supposed to be, and then it was like we're making the multiplayer and we're gonna make it this multiplayer fucking. It always felt like some Dave Halverson fucking. Wesley. Remember those days when everything was like a trick? You know, felt like a big trick. So
Yeah, so I mean, so I heard that the Falling Skies game was mediocre, and that was an RPG style game, based around that TV show. Apparently, the first game they worked on was called Mistborn Birthright, was a RPG. Maybe it never got published. So
I don't know,
they
man.
they definitely have at least some RPG pedigree.
You remember on the PlayStation days?
Yeah,
There
Fallen Skies is like a tactical RPG. Wow, that looks rough.
you remember during the PlayStation 1 days, Wesley? There was this company that I guess they had helped localize Final Fantasy VII, and they were making a big stink about how they were going out and they were going to form their own company and make this big RPG that was going to be a Western
You,
Final Fantasy.
you talking about Shadow Madness?
And you remember what that game actually turned out to be?
You talking about that you had like a pirate looking dude on the cover?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it was supposed to be like this big American Final Fantasy game. And I mean, Next Generation Magazine and play, everybody but PlayStation Magazine, like the internet bit off hard on it. IGN back in the day was biting hard off it, and just that game finally came out at E3 and it just looked like complete dog shit. Like it was so bad. And so I'm not saying this is that, but people gotta know, like, making an RPG is about the hardest thing you can do.
hmm
Like this right
Yeah,
here. This is
you
it.
just
I'll
had
show you this, folks. This is the company that claimed they were gonna make a
yeah, it was Crave, which
yeah,
basically
Crave.
made
Thank
tons
you,
of shovelware.
Crave. Because
Um,
this
yeah, so I
was
looked up Shadow Madness, and the producer was a guy named Ted Woosley, and his pedigree was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Final Fantasy Legend 3, Secret of Mana, Breath of Fire, Final Fantasy 3, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Evermore, Super Mario RPG. And the only notes that show up on Wikipedia says marketing, which means he was probably just, I believe he was just a translator in all these games. And then,
look at this
he was a
CG.
producer.
Look at this CG. Like you're trying to do CG backgrounds with the low poly characters. And you just look at it and it's like, what the fuck? Like they were trying to compete and they just were clearly not equipped. You know, someone named their character Whore. That's funny. Um, but yeah. So I just feel like you could very well end up in a situation where they mean well, but you know,
I think I own this game too. I got to, in my collector habits, I started just collecting every little RPG, and I may have sold it, but I had some gems in there. Oh God.
Crave Shadow Madness is not a gem.
No, yeah,
It's not a gem.
not a gem at all.
It's kind of like remember when they were bringing this fighting game to the Nintendo 64? It was going to be the first 60 frames per second real 3D fighting game, Dark Rift. Did you ever play Dark Rift? The hype for this
Nope.
game was insane. Game came out, fucking dog shit, but it was 60 frames per second. I'll show you this game, folks. Dark Rift. Yeah, this game. Maybe you folks out there remember it. It's exclusive. Remember when they loved to do these CG rendered covers? Make you think that's what the game looked like? This is the game. It actually looks better because it's been anti-aliased, but that blurry nonsense right there is what the game actually looked like.
Oh man, that's because Vic Tokai right on the box. That's
Yeah, Vic Tokai. Dark Rift. 60 frames per second. You got me there. And it was a 2D plane. It wasn't really even a 3D fighter like, say, Tobal or anything. It was a dog shit game, man. But see how much color they added to all the screenshots to make it look like you were getting ultra high frame rate, ensures fast animations. Tune into individual character stereo sound tracking. What does that mean? Motion captured character animations. Motion captured. Hyperactive 3D fighting with a sci-fi theme. More fight more often. That's the best slogan ever for a game. More fight. Dark Rift. More fight more often. That's impressive. So, who knows, man? All I know is unsung stories, unsung. It's still gonna keep going on. We got another 2 years of this nonsense. So,
Hey, looks like it's in a better spot than
well,
the
they're,
RPG I backed, which was that Project Phoenix or whatever.
remember I didn't do that one. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Wesley take the hit on that one.
I mean, they keep updating, but their last update was like, yeah, we're a lot farther away.
I only back indie developers that I feel have like one or two per people teams, and I put about 20 to $50 in tops. So if I lose it with game developers, I understand, and I kind of like to go through. Even if they don't do well, I just like them to document the process so I can see what went wrong. I mean, my Game Cave project's taken 3+ years to do, but it's because of my situation. But but in terms of like, there's a few games I backed that become vaporware, but they fell through on documenting when it went wrong, and they're like, I'm out of money, can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I
So
mean, other than Project Phoenix, I've had a great track record on Kickstarter. I mean, the last one, Sundered, which I just finished, yes, 2 days ago. They
good
said
good
it would come
segue.
out. They said it would come out July 2017. It came out right at the end of July 2017. It is, I thought, a really fun, interesting game. Pretty much what they promised, and they're still working on it. Some people are having gripes, and they just released. I got an email with like a bunch of like upcoming bug fixes. I guess the PlayStation 4 versions had some frame rate issues. The game is a cross between like a Metroidvania and a roguelike, where when you die, you go back to the beginning, but unlike a roguelike, you don't lose everything. You just take the experience back and you put it into a giant skill tree where you can become stronger. So it's about a game of constantly exploring, becoming stronger, and going forth. The story is like way over my like head. I didn't really pay attention. You're just like a wanderer who gets like sucked into the sand, and you end up in some crazy underground place, and you explore. But it is absolutely a beautiful game. It's from the guys who made Jotun Thunder Lotus games. You can see in the video that you're showing off. The animation is fantastic. Like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
pretty awesome.
one of the best 2D looking games, but it can be tough. You see these hordes of enemies, and that's how they come. They just appear randomly, and they're relentless. Like at the end of the game, I was like, I would fight, but like sometimes you can stop the hordes, and sometimes they just keep coming, and it's like I just had to like push through the map to like get to a power up and just like run for my life. But that part could be a little frustrating. The balance could use some work, but yeah, it's a really cool game. Beautiful game, definitely worth checking out. I think it's only like $20.
One of the games I backed a little over a year or two ago was Battle Chasers. Big fan of the comic, grew up with it. And so they're finally making this RPG game. It's going to be on, PC, Switch, everything, PlayStation 4. And I'm just afraid that game is going to be fucking super hard. Like, I know, I'm not saying I want a super easy game, but I think like there has just some of these indie games, because they don't have the ability to add insane scale, right? They can't add AAA scale because they have a limited budget. They tend to like over hard the fucking game. Then call it like roguelite or some nonsense, whatever the
Well, and part of that too is honestly just because of the size of the studio. Like, you work on a game, sometimes you're really good at it and you can't balance it right. And then the game gets released to the public and they're like, dude, this game's effing hard. And like, oh man, all our testers crushed this game. What are you talking about? It's like, well, they've been playing it every step of the way. And I
and
think that's,
they were being paid to.
yeah.
Which is a little bit different than when you pay for a game and you're like, this game's kicking my ass.
So yeah, I mean, it's almost like no game now. Yeah, obviously, every game's getting patched and fixed, but especially some of these indie games, like even if they're not early access, like there's a part of them where it's still kind of a beta.
I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of games that came out, um, even when I was younger, like let's say 32-bit era games, I don't think they were complete games. I think a lot of those games could have gone through a round of online testing if they had the ability, you know? I mean, look, I love Final Fantasy Tactics. It's probably my favorite game of all time. You will die the first battle out if you fuck around, you know? You'll get your ass creamed. That game will just relentlessly fuck you up if you don't take it serious, you know? So there can be crushing difficulty, but uh, I never felt it was being done just to make the gameplay drag out longer. Does that make sense? Like you're making it more difficult so it takes longer to beat versus it being challenging because it's a challenging game. I just some of this I feel like there's this artificial
Yeah, I don't
difficult.
think Sundered. Thinking about that, it probably does it to a point, but it's not like egregious. It definitely you realize quickly like, oh, I need to be stronger. Maybe I should spec for experience, and as I explore, I'll gain more experience. So the next time I do die, I can level up more, and then I don't have to do that. Instead of just, equipping yourself maybe to be more powerful or have better defense, you go the experience route for a little while.
You know what
But
game reminded me of that unnecessarily difficult formula was it Mega Man 9 or 10? They made that Mega Man Retro continuation game,
hmm
and it was just fucking. I was like just mean, you know. It's almost like one of those fucked up Mario Maker levels someone makes where they're just
hey,
trying to
hey,
grief you.
buy it again next week. I think next week is when the Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 comes out,
No, I'm not doing that.
which has what, six, seven, eight, nine?
Nah, I don't care. They need to re-release Mega Man Legends before I'll give them one extra dime of my money.
How about Legends 3?
Or they could actually, you know. Although, man, it's tough with that guy, dude. After Mighty Number Nine, you know.
Yeah. Kenji Ifune.
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan, but Mighty Number Nine is. It's like I did that cover for Retro, which featured the game, and it's a print I can never sell ever again. Like, you know what I mean? I can't give that one away. It's like, it's tough. All right, so you've been playing Sundered. I've been just playing through Breath of the Wild when I get an opportunity to, here and there. When I was sick, I played it. Well, not when I was sick. It was right before I got sick. I had to go to Indiana. I played the shitload out of Breath of the Wild. I'm not that far in terms of completing things in the game. What I've been doing is unlocking the entire map with very minimal hearts because I don't like doing shrines. So that's been challenging, but I got like the entire map unlocked minus sections of the mysterious forest because you know it just keeps resetting you until you do the proper quest to get the Master Sword. So in a couple weeks I'll be back to my normal schedule, and then I got to play that. I got to play Dirt 4. I'm looking forward to that. And I got to play through some of Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Remaster, which is tough because I've been playing Final Fantasy 12 and Super Triple H anti-aliasing now on my PlayStation 2 emulation for a number of years. So, like, I've been waiting for an HD Final Fantasy 12 because the texture work in that game is amazing. Really is. But now I'm like, may have been too late. But I'll check that one out. And then Battlefront's coming out. I want to rent that. I'll give it a shot. And then Mario Odyssey I'll be buying. So I think that's it in terms of game purchases this year for me. What I'm gonna try to do, folks, is rent them more often than stream. I just don't know how I'm gonna work that out. I might have to stream to the Twitch so I don't get any copyright infringement notices on this channel because I've gotten plenty of those before and I just don't feel like dealing with it. But I'm gonna definitely find a way to stream a little bit when I do it. You gotta, Wesley, we've talked before about trying to do that, but you got the kid now. It's gonna be a little difficult.
Yeah, kid, family, all that good stuff.
Job.
But I definitely I have a whole like new Twitch channel. I have my name locked down for social media purposes, all that good stuff, and I'm just sitting on it
So
because I don't have the time.
I know, right? But I gotta start making it a regular habit anyway, just because I like to play different games. Usually about an hour tops. So that'll be coming up soon. Anything else you're looking forward to right now, Wesley? Is there something coming out immediately you're like, can't wait to get to? Or are we done? We done here?
Stuff coming out immediately. I'm kind of waiting to see what the Uncharted Lost Legacy, Lost whatever, the little spin-off.
Shit, I forgot. When's that coming out? I forgot about that.
It's the end of August, like very end
Oh,
of this
fuck.
month. There,
I
I mean, there
love
are some stuff.
I love
So
Uncharted 4, man. I beat
yeah,
that.
so
Can you believe that shit?
I really like Chloe, or is that her name? I can't
She's from
remember,
2 or
but
3?
yeah,
Yeah,
from two, I really
2.
like that character. Like, yeah, Nadine and Chloe, and I thought
I
she was an
just
interesting character too. So it could be interesting to see, the world of Uncharted through different eyes.
Yeah, I just thought they did such a phenomenal job with that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That was my favorite movie of last summer. Like I was
Oh
like
yeah,
Uncharted 4 is
that's
fucking
you just took the words out of my mouth. I was like, I'm looking forward to this movie, this new summer
yeah.
blockbuster.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this and
Um,
Game of Thrones are my favorite things this summer, It's crazy how that works out.
there's some stuff I like. Danganronpa 3. I'm looking forward to. Um, yeah, I mean Mario obviously, and yeah, I just can't think off the top of my head. I'm definitely looking forward to getting into some of my backlog from this year. Like I'm playing the Crash Bandicoot remake, Rhyme,
Did
Persona 4 right now. So,
you know that game Ubisoft made that was like a racing game where you can do boats and trucks and shit a few years ago? They got a new version of that coming out.
oh yeah, the Crew.
The Crew. I heard the Crew 2 is actually pretty good.
The Crew ones wasn't that bad either. It
Nah, that
just
shit
was kind
sucked.
of limited in scope.
Yeah, but they say like they actually fixed it for the Crew 2. That was the word I've been hearing. Like it's actually really good. And man, it's tough with Ubisoft, Like they tend to lie to you, you know? But I like adventure racing games. So the Crew 2. Yeah, they added rates and planes and boats and shit, but
Uh, yeah,
I'm
so
hearing
yeah,
that.
Destiny 2 is something I'm looking forward to. I like mindless loot games. Hellblade, Sinuous Sacrifice. That actually comes out tomorrow, so I'm really intrigued to see how that game reviews. That's
Monster
the
Hunter World.
Yeah, is that this year?
I don't fucking know. All I know, man,
Eh,
is I'm not a Monster Hunter gamer, but I watched the whole video on what's his face's channel. I'll get the name right now. On he's a big dude.
well, you're familiar with Hellblade, right?
Yes,
That's the game from Ninja Theory.
yes.
I once saw this really cool enslaved art on a video game magazine cover.
I know. I know. I remember. Yeah, Eric's Gaming. So this guy's got a pretty dope channel. You guys are probably aware. He's got like a 500,000 subscribers. Eric's Gaming. He's a pretty cool dude, but he covers the shit out of Monster Hunter World. He's got some fantastic
I've always
videos
wanted
on
to get
this.
into those games. I own Monster Hunter 3 on Wii U. I own a couple on PSP. I own 4 on 3DS. Have yet to play any of them.
Check out his videos on Monster Hunter World because it's a seamless world. It's like a cross between Avatar and Jurassic Park. Like it doesn't look the same as the previous games. Like they really, it's pretty fucking awesome, dude. Like I was just like impressed and horrified at the indigenous life. Like you're like, oh, that's fucking mean nature, man. So Monster Hunter World. I'm super excited about that. I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I think, I was actually going to put that down as a topic of, games. Maybe we say that for the next cast. What are we looking forward to the rest of the year? But I mean, really quick, just thumbing through a list. Shadow of War, uh, Battlefront 2 has me slightly intrigued. Cuphead. Um,
Cuphead.
First thing I'll play on my Xbox all year for crying out loud.
Long as you have,
Metroid.
oh,
Metroid Samus Returns.
Metroid 2 remake, right?
Yeah.
The remake.
Ease 8.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's some decent stuff. I won't have time for any of this, but yeah.
I know, right? You're like with the kid, you're never gonna get to play this.
Mario and Rabbids.
Look, man, that's what my
Yeah.
GameFly is for. I'm buying Mario Odyssey, and if Drive 4 is amazing, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
But that's it.
I have a sickness, so I have to collect things. Wolfenstein. So yeah.
Poor Wesley. All
Yep.
right, everybody. We talked for an hour. Wesley, where can people annoy you on the internet?
Know me on Twitter at NZXTWesley.
And
Link
as
below.
and I'll be streaming all day tomorrow, folks, working on Transformer stuff. So if you want to hang out with me, I'll be doing it all day tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, until everything's done. It's basically how it's going to work over here. So with that, we will be back in a couple weeks to talk more games. Oh, see you tomorrow, folks. Peace. Say goodbye, Wesley.
Bye.